From 4 News Now, with live updates throughout the day, breaking news as it happens, and weather every 10 minutes. This is KXLY Plus.
Good afternoon for 4 News Now. I'm Rob King. In just a moment, we're going to be speaking with someone from the Northwest Insurance Council to talk about now that people have experienced these wildfires. They're not over yet, but it's not too early to start, not too early to start getting your insurance in order and what you can do if unfortunately you've experienced this tragedy and lost a home, lost a car. So we're pulling in right now Kenton Brine. Kenton, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for inviting me on.
Absolutely. You're aware of these wildfires burning in this area. I'm not sure if you're local, but what is one of the first things that people should do if they lose their home?
Well, first, obviously, our hearts are going out to the folks of the Spokane area and Medical Lake. These are obviously terrible and devastating and fast-moving fires, and that's the way they can happen here in the Northwest as our summers become hotter and drier. It's important for folks to do what they can, first and foremost, to stay safe. So if you get an evacuation order, obviously, evacuate your home as quickly as possible. We can talk more later about how to prepare for that. But now, if your home has been damaged or destroyed by fire, you want to get that claims process started right away. Wildfire is a covered peril under homeowners insurance policies as well as business insurance policies. So knowing that you have coverage, the first thing to do is, if you're in a safe place to do so, is contact your insurance agent or company directly. Those phone numbers are available on our website if you need them for the large major insurers that probably have a lot of the homes insured in that area. Contact your company, make sure they're aware of the loss, and let them help you get started on getting a claim filed and getting immediate financial assistance to help you pay for immediate expenses like where you're going to have to stay in these immediate days surrounding the fire. That can even apply if you have been ordered to evacuate and you have to go find a place to stay. If you're staying in a hotel, motel, what have you, and you have expenses related to that, insurance may be able to help with that.
Got it. Now, we heard from someone that they had to evacuate from one fire at their work and then had to evacuate the other fire at their home. Is there anything for work insurance that you can do?
Well, if you own a business, then you have a business owner's policy, and that policy includes coverage for wildfire, and it has some of the same coverages available as a homeowner's policy, but it probably isn't going to have living expenses. That's going to come from your homeowner's policy. The business expenses are going to be for the period of time when you're closed and you can't do business. You'll have a coverage available for that lost business time, as an example. And then again, if there's damage to the structure, then that insurance helps pay to rebuild the structure and get your business back on its feet.
Got it. Now, dealing with insurance can be a headache in a non-emergency. So now with all these other things going on, should people expect kind of longer phone times if a lot of people are going to be filing claims? Or how will that work?
Well, insurance companies really are pretty well prepared to deal with even larger scale disasters. I mean, this is certainly a terrible and overwhelming disaster for the Medical Lake communities and those around Spokane that are affected. However, there are larger fires in California and Colorado and Oregon where thousands of homes are destroyed, and it's not just one insurance company. Obviously, people have different companies that they're signed up with, that they're paying for insurance with. So companies are well prepared to deal with this, and you shouldn't have really any wait time in terms of getting a hold of your insurance company and getting a claim filed. And typically, what you might see in a disaster as large as this one is companies might even come to like a local high school parking lot or a Walmart parking lot, whatever, and set up mobile command units so they can be on site and issue payments to people on the spot. I don't know if that's occurring yet in the Spokane fires, and they may not happen immediately because of the fact that there's still so much ongoing fire danger and smoke in the area and that sort of thing. But there's certainly no reason why there should be any delay in contacting your company by phone and getting that claims process started.
A lot of people with homes in these areas may not even know if their home is damaged yet. Is it the kind of thing that you should wait until the fire's 100% contained, or is it okay that you call now sort of preemptively?
There's certainly no harm in contacting your insurer. If you've been issued an evacuation order and you don't know if your home's damaged yet or not, there's certainly no harm in contacting your insurer to let them know that you've been evacuated and that there may be damage to your home. Once again, this is just it's a first step in the process. You get a claim number assigned, you keep that information handy, you build a early relationship with your company. You're going to have a claims person assisting you, and you're going to know how to contact that person when you can confirm whether or not there has been any damage. When it becomes safe to go back and take a look, insurance adjusters are going to want to come and have a look at the property. If it's a complete and total loss, that's going to be pretty obvious. But if there's partial damage, then they'll want to estimate what the cost is to repair those. One thing I want to make sure we mention pretty early on in this discussion is that while you do have, if you're a homeowner and you have insurance coverage, then you can get a claim filed, but it's important to remember that you have a deductible too, and that can be a percentage of the insured value of the home, which may be anywhere from $500 to $3,500, depending on how much insurance you have on your home. So if you have really minor damage, or all we're talking about is you've been forced to evacuate, and you might have a few $100s in hotel bills or fees if you're camping or what have you, those may not add up to your deductible. It's important to know what your deductible is and how much coverage you have. So even if you're not sure if you have damage to your home, contacting your insurance agent or company as soon as possible, if you're in the fire affected area, is a good way to start to know what's going to be expected of you and what your company is prepared to do for you.
Got it. And what can people do if their home's lost, but they also have all their possessions, things maybe not even with monetary value, but sentimental value, or they just don't know the total valuation of all their things? I mean, I have things in my apartment. I wouldn't know how to total up all my items. So how do you go about doing that?
Well, first of all, this is a good and terrible lesson for people the part of the preparation process is, even if you just walk through your home with your smartphone and shoot video and talk about the things that are in your home, whether they're of sentimental value or have actual cash value. Like, I know we just bought this couch last year, it was $3,500. Keeping those things top of mind before an event like this occurs is really, really important. That said, companies are pretty experienced, again, in dealing with wildfire disasters on a large scale. And, they have their own sort of algorithmic information about what is to be expected when a home is a total loss. And the contents of your home are obviously a part of your insurance policy as well. So they may do an early estimate of what they think was in your home and what its insured value was, and they're going to provide some of that money to the homeowner up front, sort of no questions asked. Now, when it gets sticky is later on in that claims process, when your insurer has provided you with some upfront money for your additional living expenses living outside the home and for your contents coverage, so you can start to replace the items that you've lost in that rebuilding process. However, the more information that you have about what was in your home before the loss, the easier and faster that process and less frictional that process is going to be with your insurer. So, word to the wise, ahead of a disaster, the more information you have on hand about what's in your home, the easier the claims process is. But in the early days after a disaster like this, the way insurers tend to work is they're going to give you some money up front to give you, for additional living expenses. They're going to estimate what the total loss value of your home is, and they're going to start working toward paying you the money you need to get the rebuilding process started. And that's going to include funding for the contents of your home that have been lost.
Got it. Now, unfortunately, there's also, in times of tragedy, the opportunity for scammers. Now, what's something that people should look out as far as either insurance scams or scammers with contractors?
So Washington State has a very robust regulatory scheme, and if you've been approached by a contractor to do repairs to your home, the first place to go is the Washington Department of Labor and Industries to look them up, check for ask a contractor for their license number, which they have to provide to you, and then you can look them up with L&I and see if they're a reputable contractor or not. But also, it's good to be wary. Certainly the vast majority of contractors who work in Washington State are licensed, they're bonded, and they're reliable. But there are scammers out there sometimes, usually people traveling in from elsewhere, who will attempt to get you to pay them some money from your early dollars from your insurance company to do repairs. And then they won't show up to do the repairs, or they'll do them really badly. So it's really important to work with your insurance company early on. You can pick the contractor you want to work with, but your insurer can help provide you the information you need to make the right choice, and make sure you don't overspend on things that are not good repairs. Because if you spend all that insurance money on a bad repair, there isn't more money coming to replace what you've lost.
Got it. Well, Kenton, is there anything else you want to add? I know this isn't a fun conversation, but it's very much important information that the public needs to know. So anything else you'd like to add?
Absolutely true. Just a couple quick things. One is, if you are a renter and you have renter's insurance coverage, remember that you also need to contact your insurer, because the contents of your home, even if it's from smoke damage that needs to be replaced, is covered by your renter's insurance policy. It doesn't pay to rebuild the structure, but it pays to replace the items inside your home or your vehicle. Let's say you took a bunch of things out of your home or your apartment and you put them in your car and you had to make a quick getaway, but then maybe your car was damaged or there was trouble with the items inside the car that you took out of the home. Insurance is there to help pay those costs, and it comes from your renter's or homeowner's policy, not your vehicle policy. And then about your vehicle, if you have comprehensive insurance coverage, which most people do, it's an optional coverage that you get with your liability policy. That helps pay for damage to your vehicle. And I know there have been vehicles damaged or lost in the fires. So check with your insurer about your comprehensive insurance policy that helps pay to replace your vehicle as well.
Got it. Well, Kenton Brine, thank you so much for joining me. Like we said, it's not fun, but it's very much important information. So I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, and best of luck to the folks of Spokane.
Thank you. And if you missed some of that interview, the full thing will be up on our website, kxly.com, in just a moment. Also coming up in about 15 minutes from now, I'm going to be checking in with 4 News Now's Jordan Smith, live from the Gray Fire with the latest information and what to expect for today. But for now, live in studio, I'm Rob King for 4 News Now.